Hello everyone. First of all, I welcome you all to this session where we will be providing you a functional training on Odoo 14 full accounting kit. So let me give you a quick intro about myself. So myself Pooja, functional consultant at Cybrosys Technology. And Cybrosys is one of the leading Odoo partners which is having more than a decade of experience in Odoo, both in community as well as its enterprise edition, and we have showcased many successful projects in Odoo, that too in all the major business domain. So basically for today's training, the main agenda would be is to provide a functional training to the end users as well as the public users in Odoo. So this training would be based upon Odoo 14 full accounting kit app. So now let's start our training session. So I hope that my voice is audible to everyone. So now let's move on to our training session. So first of all, let's check out the benefits of Odoo 14 full accounting kit. So this Odoo 14 full accounting kit feature brings up you a limited functionalities with Odoo accounting community edition. So basically this Odoo full accounting kit is being module which is developed by Cybrosys technology and built under the 14 version. So these modules bring back the accounting features such as the asset management, accounting report, PDC management, account lock dates, customer credit limits, follow-ups, daybook, bank book, and cash book reports in the Odoo 14 community edition. So let's have a look onto these features of Odoo 14 accounting kit one by one. So as we know that accounting in Odoo is sufficient for any organization to meet all their needs that is related to accounting. So as you know, for an organization, accounting is one of the most important processes in order to run the company without any financial losses. So Odoo accounting is connected with all other apps such as the sales, purchase, inventory, and more. And with this Odoo 14 accounting kit, it brought up the features like accounting dashboard with all the necessary details. Then it brings up the feature of asset management system for Odoo 14 community edition, and then the PDC management, then accounting lock dates, customer credit limit, handling recurring payments, then to manage the customer follow-up levels, we are having the functionality, and then the day book, bank book, and cash book reports also. Then with the financial reports, trial balance reports, journal audit report, general ledger reports, partner ledger reports, tax reports, and age partner balance reports and all. So these are some of the features that is being brought up with this Odoo 14 full accounting kit. So let's have a brief discussion on our brief training session on our today's topic, that is Odoo 14 full accounting kit. So basically in the community edition, we have only limited features that is available under our Odoo accounting. But here comes the use of the Odoo 14 full accounting kit that you can see in the App Store. That is the Odoo 14 full accounting kit. So I have installed this module. So basically in general, in community edition, we have only the limited features that is available under Odoo accounting. But with this module, that is Odoo 14 full accounting kit by Cybrosys technology, which is built under the version 14 platform, will bring back the accounting features like the asset management, and this brief dashboard with the more details, then accounting reports, PDC management, account log dates, customer credit limit, follow-ups, paybook, bank book, and cash book reports and all. So let's have a look on them one by one. So before moving to the features, here itself, the one of the feature is regarding the detailed dashboard that is brought up with Odoo 14 accounting kit. So with this dashboard, you can see that you will get a brief overview of the net profit or the losses. That is, it provides you a brief report on the profit and loss that shows your organization net income by deducting the expenses from the revenue for the report period. You can see on the basis of the year as well as on the basis of the month too. And then you have the total income option also, where you can see the total income of your organization. So here it is being calculated over here. Then the total expenses, both the year basis as well as the month basis. And then you also have the options to view the how many of items are unreconciled for the year as well as for this particular month also. And when you come down or scroll down, here you can see you will have the options to view the income and expenses report based upon the year, month and last year option. So based upon that also you can have the view on the reports too. And then you will have the options to view the invoices. That is the invoices. Under that, the customer invoices as the supplier invoice, that is the bill, also can be seen from here. And here on the basis of the month as well as on the basis of the year also, you can compute the invoices. Similarly, here you can see the bank as well as the cash balance also. So for that also we are having the feature, or we have brought up this particular feature in the dashboard itself. And here in the dashboard also you will have the options to whether you want to see all the entries or whether you want to see only the posted entries. So for that also we are having the option over here, that is view posted entries, and when you click on that you can see you able to see or other option like view all the entries too. So these are some of the options that we are having in the dashboard. And from the dashboard itself, when you come down, you will also get a report of age receivable. So basically this age receivable report shows the sales invoices that were awaiting payment during the selected month as well as several months prior. So for that also you have the classification that is based upon, or the interval that is based upon this month or the year basis you want to look. You have this option over here. And then you have this age payable report. So for means this age payable report, it displays generally the informations on individual bill, credit note or overpayment that is owned by you, and how long these have been gone unpaid. So like those reports can be viewed from here on the basis of the month as well as the year basis interval. And moreover, you also have an option to see the top 10 customers also over here. So for that also you are having the provision over here on the basis of the month or on the basis of this month or whether the last month. So from Odoo 14 full accounting kit, you will get a quick overview of the account reports that is related to the net profit or loss, total income, total expenses, unreconciled items, invoices, income or expenses, then the bank and cash balance, as well as the reports on age receivable, age payable, and the top 10 customers. So these are some of the things that you will get a quick overview from the Odoo 14 full accounting kit feature, that is the dashboard, accounting dashboard in the community edition. Now let's move to the other feature of Odoo 14 full accounting kit. So the next feature that is related to this is regarding the recurring entries that we have seen, that is the recurring template. So basically this, you can able to see those option over here, that is under payment. You can see, you will see an option called as recurring template. So basically from here you can create a recurring template. So this recurring entries are one of the most important feature in this particular module, that is in Odoo Functional Accounting Kit, full accounting kit. So it allows you to generate entries for a specific bill, such as we can say the electricity bill or the rent, that which repeats periodically. So currently you can see the form view of the recurring template. So using this, what one can set the recurring template for that bill and the period for the template for which it also repeats. So it will be posted or will be created as a draft automatically according to the interval that you are selecting, that is the recurring interval as well as the recurring period. Now here you will have the options to provide the name. So here you can provide the name of the recurring payment. So here I'm providing the name as electricity bill, and here you have the option called as pay time. So basically this pay time option, it specifies whether it should be paid directly or should be paid later. So here we are having two options for pay time, that is pay directly or pay later. So when you have this option, that is pay later, when you click on this case, you can select the corresponding partner over here, or the other option is the options to pay directly. So it specifies whether it should be paid directly or by later on. So for that we are having this pay time over here, and then here we are having the recurring period. So upon selecting the recurring period, the next scheduled date over here would be calculated automatically based upon the recurring period as well as the interval that you are setting. So for right now I am providing the recurring period as days, and here the recurring interval I am setting as 1. So based upon this recurring period as well as the recurring interval, here the next scheduled date would be automatically computed, and here you will have the options to mention the amount. So let's mention the amount also over here. And here you can mention any of the credit accounts. And also can mention the journal over here. So here you can mention the journal too. And then here you are having an option called as the generate journal as. So basically this option here, generally it specifies whether the journal should be posted or unposted. So in case of posted journal entries, so these are generally posted automatically, or if you select the option called as unposted, basically it would be in the draft stage. So after creating the recurring template, you can see the template would be in the draft stage. So suppose here I am creating or I am providing the option that is generate the journal as unposted. And if I save this, you can see that it would be in the draft state. So here you can see the changes. Here I have provided the recurring period, recurring interval, as well as the starting date. So based upon the recurring period as well as the interval, automatically you can see the next scheduled date is calculated based upon the recurring period as well as the interval that I have set over there. Then right now, as I told you, when I keep this generate journal as in unposted state, the state of this particular template form would be in the draft state. And when I click on this option that is generate journal as posted, what happens is that the entries would be created when this entries would be created automatically on this next schedule date. So suppose if I make this in the running state, here you can see right now this electricity bill is currently in the running state, and basically in the settings if we see, and for right now what happens is that uh, automatically when this next schedule date, that is for tomorrow, or when it comes to this particular date, that date is shown over the next schedule date, the entries would be automatically generated on the corresponding date that is being provided over here, that is run next schedule date. That is for that we have scheduled some actions. Automatic actions are being provided in the settings, and when you click or when you open the technical settings of the Odoo, there we have created a scheduled actions for the recurring template. So what happens is that this recurring template would be generating the entries only on this particular next schedule date, preferred next schedule date. So when these entries are generated, what happened is this, is that for this particular amount, the electricity bill entries would be posted. Sorry, not posted, it would be showing those entries in the draft state. So like that, you will have the options for creating the recurring templates or generating the recurring entries that can be, that is to allow for specific bills such as this electricity bills. So in order to manage those kinds of bills like electricity rent bills that repeats periodically, so for that functionality one can use this feature called as recurring template. So using this feature one can use this option or can use the functionality in order to compute those bills that repeats periodically. For that they can just create the template, and so it would be posted automatically or would be created in the draft stage automatically according to the recurring interval as well as the recurring period that you are setting. So based upon the next schedule date, the entries or the Odoo schedule action will run it automatically and provide the entries over here. So this is how this recurring template goes. So basically you can simply create the entries from here. You can simply provide the fields like the name, paid time, interval period, as well as the amount, cash, debit account, as well as the credit account, and the journal also you can mention. And if you want to mention any analytic account, you also have the options to mention that too. So this is how the use of recurring template, or we can say the periodic need of a particular user, can be meted using this recurring template in community version using this Odoo full accounting kit feature that is called as recurring template. Now let's look to the next feature. So basically next one is regarding the customer follow-up. So there, yeah, so basically this customer follow-up, as you know that in a business it is very essential to collect the payments that are overdue and send appropriate reminders and all. So 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 Odoo enables you to set a follow-up level for the company and can see the follow-up reports too, that is under the customers for each customers whose payments are overdue. So for that also we are having this functionality called as customer follow. So basically you can see that you will have this functionality over here. So here you can see you will have the options to see the customer follow-up reports. So where you can generally see the reports of this, or otherwise you will have the options over the configurations where you can generally create the follow-up levels where you can see under the management. So in order to collect the payments that are overdue from your customer, we are setting a kind of reminders. So for that we are having this payment follow-ups option in this Odoo 14 full accounting kit. So basically by default in Odoo we are not having this functionality. With this full accounting kit we brings up the additional features, and those additional features we are going to discuss, we are discussing in this session. So this is one among them. So in order to get the option of follow-up level, first of all you can see under configuration, under the management option, you will have the option called as follow-up levels. Follow-up levels. So here you can see already a follow-up is being created. So here you can see currently the payment follow-up for the company is being set, or the form view is like this, where you can create a follow-up action. So here already a follow-up action is created, that is reminder, and its due date is 5. And similarly you can create your own reminders also, that is here also you can create the reminder 1, and here you can also mention after how many days. So here basically it mentioned the due date, that is the number of days after the due date of that particular invoice, that is to wait before sending the reminder. So it could be negative also if you want to send a pilot or alert before the due date and all. So for that also you can do, or here also you can mention the due date. So after 2 days of overdue of the following invoices, it does this corresponding action. So you have the option to save and close this, or otherwise you can also have the option to save this and create a new one also. So right now I'm saving this option. So for now you can see I have set a reminder called as I have created a follow-up action, that is reminder 1 with due date 2. So this is how you can define different actions, that is depending upon how secure or how surely overdue the customers. So basically these actions we can say, that is the actions that we are creating over here, are bundled into follow-up levels that are triggered when the due date of the customer arises. So here you can see I have already created, and now after creating this follow-up levels, what you can do is that you can check the follow-up reports that is getting under the customer menu. So under the customer menu you will also have the option to see the follow-up reports. So basically over here you would be able to see the follow-up reports. So for currently we are not having any uh, customers for which the action should be needed. That's why here the follow-up status is that no actions needed. So if there are any cases where for which the customer the action should be needed, here we will get the option, that is the is in need of action, that is the follow-up status would be in need of action. So suppose currently I filter out based upon that I would not having any reports on that particular customer, whereas when I remove that you can see it lists all the customer, their total due, total overdue amount, as well as the follow-up status. So for currently for these number of customers, the follow-up status is no action needed. So if any of the customers had any kind of overdue or have not yet paid their bill, the follow-up status would be action needed. So based upon that, it would be showing over here. So likewise, what you can do, you can using these options like the follow-up labels as well as follow-up labels, where you can create the reminders to make sure you follow up the customer, and using this follow-up reports also, that is using both this feature, you can make sure that the payments are not overdue and the amount is being collected from your customer. So for that functionality, we are having this option called as follow-up report with Odoo 14 full accounting kit module. So that is yet another feature that is of brought up in Odoo 14 full accounting kit. And then in the accounting, we will have the certain options. So in the menu of accounting, we can see the following items like the journal entries. So basically, as we know that this journal entries, it displays all the journal entries for the transactions that has happened inside your organizations. Okay, so from here you can see all the transaction. So basically, while opening a journal entries also, you can see different journal items also. Journal items, the debit credit side amount will be displayed, and also the corresponding journal date entry and all over here. So basically in journal entries you will be listing out, or it will display all the transaction that is basically happening inside your organization. And with this journal entries also, you can see you have these journal entries based upon the different journals like miscellaneous one, bank and cash, as well as the customer invoices and all. And similarly in the accounting, you will see the options for the journals like the sales, purchase, bank and cash, as well as the miscellaneous one. So here basically with the sales journal entries also, with sales also, here you can see every journal entries of your sales and the respective partner, their invoices, invoice number, the product in each invoices, debit and credit amount can be seen from here. So here you can see already the filter is being based upon the posted sales as well as the journal entry is being done. So that's why on the basis of that, here you are able to see those entries only. So otherwise you also have the other options over here to change upon, where you can add your own filters and you can filter out the reports. So here you can basically see the journal entries, sales journal entries. So here it will post, so here you can see all the posts that sends the customer invoices and all. The next one under accounting you would be seeing, that is the journals related to purchase also. So with purchase also, same as in case of sales we have seen, for purchase also it will show the post that is to receive the vendor bills and all. So for that, on the basis of the posted purchase journal entry would be listed out here over the option called as purchase journal entries. And similarly we are having the other options too, that is for bank and cash as well as the miscellaneous one. So as explained earlier, for both the cases of sales and purchase, so using this also we are having the bank and cash, so it will generally show all the transactions of the journals or all the entries that is based upon the journals that we have used over here. So generally bank and cash means it will post all your bank statement and track the customer payments, vendor payments, as well as all other transactions are recorded which is associated to the bank accounts with the bank and cash. And with cash it will track the petty cash, the daily cash transaction. So all those transactions are recorded in these journal entries, that is called as bank and cash one. And then for accounting we will have the miscellaneous one. So basically it posts miscellaneous entries. So this journal is used for anything that does not fit in the above journals, that is the sales, purchase, bank and cash. So those journal entries which does not fit into the above, we are using the miscellaneous entries for that. So this is for those purpose. And then we are having this general ledger option also, partner ledger option also. So as you know that general ledger, it shows all the transactions in your organization. So you can use this general ledger options to view the transactions happening within the organization. And similarly the partner ledger option also, so it shows the current open balance with your customer or the vendors. So for that also you have the option. So basically you can see here the filters are based upon the posted unreconciled as payable and receivable and partner. So based upon that it is shows the current open balance with our customer or with your customer or vendors. So for that we are having the options in the accounting to view, that is the partner ledger. And then with Odoo accounting or with the community edition, so basically in community edition we does not have the option for the asset management in community edition. But with this Odoo full accounting kit, we also bring up an option or a feature to manage our asset. So for that we are having the option called as assets. So using this module, you can manage the asset that is owned by your company or by an individual, and you can keep a track of depreciation that occurs on those assets. So before creating a particular asset, you can simply create an asset from here. You can also have means before creating a particular asset means you have to create the asset type, so that you can see under the configuration. Here you are having the option to view the asset type. So before creating the asset you can create the asset type. So basically the need of this asset type is to make the process easy. So by creating a single asset type means we can say that by creating a single asset type itself, it can be used for creating multiple assets. So while creating a single asset type itself, we can further use it for other asset management also. So with this Odoo 14 full accounting kit, it helps to provide, it helps to create a asset type also. So basically this asset management, as I told you, is a systematic process to organize, or we can say to monitor as well as self assets for an organization. Means in order to make sure the assets of an organization is managed in cost effective way. So by monitoring this asset and their current working conditions, it will help you to understand the basic loss as well as gain or the equipment failure, all other details over here. So here you can create, before creating an asset, you can just create an asset type over here. So here you can mention the asset type. So here I'm mentioning the asset type. So here you can provide the name for the asset type that you want. So here I can provide, and here I can mention the journals also. So here I mention the journal, and then I have the options to mention the asset account. So here I can generally mention the asset account. So here I can mention the asset account. And then here I have the options for mentioning the depreciation entries, that is the expense account. So here also I can mention that particular expense account. Then here you will have the options to mention this time method based So basically here you can mention the number of entries, and here you can see you will have the option to mention the ending date. So when you click on that particular boolean field, you will have the options to mention the ending date. And when you click on this number of entries option, you will get an option to mention the entry. So suppose if I have mentioned the number of entries over here as 5 and number of entry every 12 months. So here also I have opted the option, like here you can see that is under this depreciation method. Here you can see you have an option called as computation method. So with computation method also, here you are having two options, that is linear as well as degressive. So this linear means this linear will provide you. So if you choose the depreciation method, their computation method as linear, so it will calculate the depreciation linearly. That is, it will equally split for each year. If you select linear, it will equally split the corresponding asset amount that you are creating for each year. It will equally split. But whereas if you select the option for degressive, so if you select this computation method as degressive, so here you can see when I enable this itself, I get an option extra field called degressive factor. So when I use this depreciation, what happens is that that particular actual amount will be generally multiplied with this particular degressive factor. So which generally provides you the depreciable amount. So when I use the computation method as degressive, what happens is that the actual amount would be multiplied with this corresponding degressive factor that you mention over here. And then you have this pro rata temporis. So basically this pro rata temporis, or this is a feature that helps to determine, that is from which date the depreciation needs to be calculated. That is, suppose this particular boolean field is checked, so the first date of depreciation starts from the asset creation date. So basically, in order to determine that, we are having this pro rata temporis. So basically, as I told you, it determines, that is from which date the depreciation need to be calculated. And if it is checked, the first date of the depreciation would be generally starting from the day where the asset management or the new asset has been created. So for that, you have this option called as pro rata temporis. So you can create an asset type. So now let's save this corresponding asset type over here, and let's go back to the assets. That is, under the accounting you will have the option under management, that is assets, and here you can create a new asset. So here you can mention the name of the asset and can mention the category. So basically in the category you will be getting the asset type that you have created. So basically the main purpose of creating this asset type is to make this time consuming. That is, as by creating this particular asset type, you can see that this single asset type we can use this on multiple asset creation. So for that we can create a category and can use this on multiple asset management process. So for that we can use this option called as asset type. So here after configuring that, you can see I will get an option to mention the category over here. So in general, I can mention the category over there, and here you can mention the reference if any that is related to the particular asset that you are creating. You can mention over here, and then you have the option of date and then the company, and have the options to mention the gross value. So here you can generally mention the gross value. So suppose if I mention the gross value over here and let the savage value be some 40,000. So here you can see, here I have mentioned this gross value. So here the gross value indicates the original value of the asset, which, or we can say the book value, and the salvage value is the net depreciable value, and here this residual value, it represents the depreciable value. This one, salvage value, is the net depreciable value, whereas this residual value indicates the depreciable value. So you can see that when I have provided my original value, that is the gross value as well as the salvage value, the residual value is being automatically calculated over here. Then you also have the options to mention the vendor over here and the corresponding invoice, if any, you can also mention that also. So for that we are having the option over there, that is with the invoices. Now since I have selected the category computer, and for this computer I have mentioned the periods also, like is number of entries and one entry every year and all. So based upon these entries, so suppose if I save this and click on the option, so you can see when I save this itself, and when I have this option where it is show the depreciation board, where this, if I, yeah, so if I click on this compute depreciation board itself, you can see it will show the corresponding entries over here. So here you can see these depreciation board, the depreciation date, cumulative depreciation, as well as here you can see the depreciation value. As we have selected the option as linear, you can see it is equally split for each and every, so equally split for every year, or each year you can see it is equally split, since the computation method while creating the asset type we have selected as linear. Okay, here you can see it is the depreciation board, that is linearly split, and also the cumulative depreciation, that would be the sum of the depreciation over here, and then you have this residual value. So basically you can see this residual value would be based upon the residual value minus the cumulative value. It will provide you the depreciable, or here the residual value. So here you can see it will calculate on basis of that. So based upon this residual value minus the depreciation value, it will provide you the residual value. So here you can see those entries based upon the date, the 5 year, you can see for 5 years they have done this, and the cumulative depreciation. And then here you also have the informations related to the asset type that we have provided, that is the computation method was set as linear, and the time base, that is based upon the number of entries. So these are the details that we have entered in our asset type, that is while creating the asset type we have entered or mentioned these details. So these details are already mentioned over here under the depreciation information. So you can see that these informations are also posted over here, and then you have the depreciation board. Now if I save this, right now it is in the draft stage, and you can see now none of the items are being in the running state. Here you can see 0 items are validated. So basically suppose if I confirm this, you can see this particular asset that I have created would be in the running stage. Here you can see it would be in the running stage, and for this right now 0 items would be there, and here you have the option to see linked. So basically you, these currently it shows that is in the unposted state. So if I take any of them, it would be in the unposted state. So if means once this informations related to this asset type and all is being set, what happens is then it will automatically validate at this particular time depreciation date. So so it will be automatically updated on that date. So like that it will be posted, or otherwise if I click on this linked option here over here right now, earlier it was in red in color, but when I clicked on the option, or when I click right now it is in the posted state, but you can see when I click on that it gets into green color, and here you can see one item would be added into journal entry, but still the status would be the draft state. So here you can add those entries, and currently you can see the three of them would be in the draft state. And if you have this, means if you make this as posted only, it would be turning into the state called as the posted state. Otherwise these all the entries would be shown in the draft state. So here you can see when I do that, 5 of them entries would be generated, but the status of them would be still in the draft state, that is it is not yet being posted. So this is how we can manage the asset with this Odoo 14 full accounting kit module. So basically by default in case of Odoo community edition, we are not having this option where you can manage your asset. But with this Odoo full accounting kit, you also have the options to manage your asset by using the option called as asset management as well as the asset type. Then in the asset itself, so this is all about the asset management that can be done with Odoo 14 full accounting kit. Now the next feature is with the lock dates. So with Odoo 14 full accounting kit, it's also provide an option where you can mention the lock dates for your fiscal year. So here you will have the options to mention the lock date. So basically this lock date, it indicates the last date of your financial year that we are closing. So for that we are using this option called as lock date. So here you can see, that is you can set the lock dates for non-advisor. So here when you select, you will have the options to mention the date. So basically here only the users with the advisor role can edit the accounts, that is prior to and inclusive of this particular date that you are providing over here. So it is used for period locking as well as inside an open physical year. So for that we are having this option called as lock date for non-advisors. So basically you can set the log dates for non-advisors also. So after setting the log dates for those, they cannot make any changes in the sales of your organizations. And when it comes to use of, so basically we can say that setting this log date would be come in use in the case of auditing time and all. So for that we are having this, and here you will have the options to mention this log date. So here basically it comes the log date for all the users, that is when you mention the date over here, that is no users, that is including the advisors, can edit the accounts which is prior to and inclusive of the date that you are providing over here. So basically the main need of this particular log date for the fiscal year is to mention the last date of the financial year that we are closing, and in order to make sure that the other persons rather than the advisor role do not have the access to change the accounts related things, so change or edit the account related things. So for that you are having the option called as the lock dates over here. And then uh, that is the another feature that is with the Odoo 14 full accounting kit, that is the lock date. And then when you comes to reporting, so basically by default for Odoo, the reporting section of Odoo Community Edition, default Odoo Community or the standard Odoo Community Edition is very limited. But whereas with this, that is Odoo Full Accounting Kit module developed by us, has brought up much more features or much more reporting sections that includes the profit and loss option, then the balance sheet, cash flow statement, daily reports like the bank book, cash book, day book options, and then the aged partner balance, partner ledger, invoice analysis also for the asset too, and then the audit reports, general ledger, trial balance report, tax reports, and the journal audit reports. So these are generally some of the additional reporting side that is being brought up with Odoo 14 full accounting kit. So let's have a look on those reporting one by one. So here first one we are having is with the profit and loss. So with this profit and loss, basically we can say the profit and loss report, as you know, in Odoo accounting shows your organization net income, that is by detecting the expenses from the revenue for the report period. Okay, so here basically you can select the report period, that is by specifying this particular start date as well as the end date for your report. So here you can mention the start date as well as the end date of your report. You can do that also. And also you can choose, here you can choose the type, that is whether the report, that is the target mode, it is a type, that is whether you want to show only the posted entries or whether all the entries. So for that we are having this option called as target move option. It is a kind of the type to choose. Then you have the display credit and debit column. So basically this option will allow you to get more details about the way your balances are computed. So for that we are having the option called display this debit as well as credit columns. Now you can click on the option of print. So when you click on this print option, it will generally provide you the details of the reports. So currently in my database I am having no entries added, so that's why it's showing over here. But otherwise it will show the date to date, from that you can see that is in the print itself they will show the target move, that is the type that we have selected, the date from date to option, as well as the profit and loss, income expense account, the debit side, credit side, as well as the balance too. So here you will able to see those informations at this particular uh, profit and loss option. And then for reporting we have this balance sheet option. So as you know, with balance sheet also it gives you a snapshot of a company asset, liability and equity, and as you know this equity is calculated by deducting the liability from the asset. So here also you will have the options to mention the start date as well as the end date too. And also, as mentioned earlier, the target move, that is whether you want the reports to show only the posted entries or whether the all the entries. So for that we are having the options over here called as the target move, and similarly display debit and credit column. So basically if you enable this option, it will allow you to get more details about the way your balances are computed. And then you can click on this option of print, where you can get the balance sheet report based upon, here you can see the date from date to options that is provided over here. And then with the accounts that you are having under liability, assets, and all informations related to the balance sheet can be printed from here, and you also have the options to print that too. So with Odoo full accounting kit also you will get these functionalities where you can get the reporting of the profit and loss, balance sheet, as well as the cash flow statement. So this cash flow statement also means it shows how changes in the balance sheets, accounts, and income effects. So basically it shows the cash as well as equivalent. Simply it's the flow of cash in as well as cash out of the company. So for those reportings we are having this cash flow statements over here. So similarly here also you will have the options to mention the target move, start date, and also have this option to compare, enable the comparison. So when you click on that, it will help you to name the column label, as well as also helps you to mention the filter based upon which you want to make the comparison between the cash flow statements that you are generating. So for that also, and to display both the credit as well as debit side also, you will get the option. And by simply clicking on this option called print, it will show you the changes in the balance sheet accounts, and as well as the income, affect cash, as well as the cash equivalent. Simply it's flow of cash in, cash out of the company. So you have the options to for checking the cash flow reports also in Odoo 14 full accounting kit. And then with this, the additional feature that is brought up is with the daily reports. So here you will have the option for reporting, that is the bank book. So generally this bank book reports allows you to print the reports of your bank transaction. So here you can specify whether the report should include the initial balance or not. So for that you are having this boolean field of option called as include the initial balance. So you can mention that. So generally if you select here, if you have selected this, so this field allows you to add a row to display the amount of the debit as well as debit, credit, or the balance that precedes the filter that you have set. So based upon that, it will help you to measure that. So this bank book report, here you can see you can mention the start date, end date, and also have the options to sort upon. So you can sort upon by date or either by the journal or partner. And here you can mention the number of journals also, accounts also. And when you click on this print option, it will provide you the details. Here you can see the journals, displayed accounts, the target moves that you have mentioned, and the other details with it. So with bank book, it will allow you to print the reports of your bank transactions. And then with reporting itself, you will get another option like cash book. So it is similar to the case of bank book report. So here you can easily access the cash transaction of your organization for a report period. For a particular period, you can set, you can access, or you can easily access the cash transactions of your organization. So for that you are having this option called as cash book report. So with that also it will mention the fields like the date, journal, partner, reference, move, entry label, debit side, credit side, and the balances also. So you are having that reporting also, that is the cash book. And then you have the day book report. So basically it allows you to print all the transactions of your organization each date in the reports period. So for each date you can see the day book report. So all the transactions of your organization based on each day, you will be able to see that in day book report. So all day transactions of your organization can be seen from the reporting section of day book. So that you are having the feature called as day book. And then here you will see an option for aged partner balance. So basically we were not having this option for reporting in case of our Odoo standard community edition, whereas for Odoo 14 full accounting kit itself we have brought this more reporting section like profit and loss, balance sheet, cash flow statement, then bank book, cash book, day book, and now the aged partner balance. So basically here you can select the partner's account, that is whether it is payable, receivable, or payable and receivable option also you are having. So in the case of receivable, the reports show sales invoices and that were awaiting payment during a selected month as well as the several month prior. And in case of payable, the report would be generally display the informations on a particular individual bill, credit note, and the overpayment that is owned by you and how long this payment have unpaid. So for that, or in order to calculate those reporting or to keep records of those reports, we are having the option called as aged partner balance, where you can mention the period length also. And also here also you are having the type, whether the posted entries or whether you want to see all the entries. So that also options you are having over here to view. So with this also you can see the report of the age partner balance. So where you can select the partner type also, and it will mention the start date, end date, period length also, the moves that we or the type that we have selected, the partner not due amount, and the period also. Here you can see we have set the period length for 30. So here you can also see those period length also. And then for reporting you will have this general ledger option also. So this general ledger, here you can see, as I told you earlier, it will show you all the transactions from all the accounts for the period that you have been chosen over here. So it will show whether the type should be all the entries or whether the posted entries only. And here also you have this display accounts, whether it want to display all or with particular movement or with balance is not equal to 0 and all, and also have the options to sort by date as well as journal and partner. And as we have discussed in case of this bank book, that is in order to include the initial balance, so for that also we have a field which allows you to add a row to display the amount of the debit, credit, or the balance that precedes the filter that you have set. And here you can see the journals as well as the companies would be measured. And here since I have not mentioned the start date as well as end date, it shows the error or a pop-up comes, that is you have to mention the start date. So if you mention the start date and end date, in general it will provide you, or it will provide you a report of all the transactions that happens under all the accounts for certain period that you choose. So in order to go get those reports, you are getting those options. And then you are also having this asset where you can make the analysis of the asset management that you have created. Currently everything is in unposted state, that's why we are not having. Whereas here you can see for the asset type called computer, the asset analysis is done, but still everything is in the unposted state, we are not able to see. So with this also reporting, it also provide, or with Odoo 14 full accounting kit, it also provide a reporting for asset analysis also. And then you have the options for trial balance also. In trial balance also, it will show the type or the target moves that you want, that is whether you want to display it for all the entries or whether all the posted entries only. Then similarly you have the options to mention the start date as well as the end date, and also have the options to display the accounts, whether you want to display all the accounts or with the moments only, and or the balance, or the accounts with the balance which is not equal to 0. So for that also you can use this trial balance. So basically this trial balance reporting is used to ensure whether the total debit amount as well as the credit amount of your organizations that are in the balance sheet is equal or not. So in order to make sure of that, we are using this trial balance. And with this Odoo 14 full accounting kit, you will also get a report for the trial balance too. And then you also have a reporting for tax, that is tax report. So here when you mention the start date and end date, it will generally display the consolidated tax reports, that is on the sales as well as on the sales and the purchase, that is during the corresponding report period, that is the start date and end date that you provide. So it displays the general consolidated tax report on sales and all sales as well as purchases for the period that you are setting. So for that we are having the option called as tax report. And then finally you have the options to view the reports that is based upon the journal audit. So with journal audit also, you can see in this particular form also you have the option to mention the target move or the type, that is you want to post all the entries or whether the posted entries only, and also have the option to sort it by date or journal entry number. Also have the options to mention the start date as well as the end date. So for meanwhile, suppose let's give some dates over here, and also here you can mention the journals too. So you can generally mention the journals over here and can mention the company. So basically you can see for creating this journal audit, the mandatory fields are the journal as well as the company. So when you click on the print option, it will generally displays all the transactions of your organization account according to the accounting journal that you have selected. So you can select the journal to be displayed in the report, and based upon that the report would be displayed. So here you can see miscellaneous, based upon the journals, all the transactions of your organizations on the basis of the journal that we have selected while creating this journal audit report would be listed out over here. So as we can say, these are some of the reporting section that is brought up with Odoo 14 full accounting kit module. So these are some of the additional reporting section that is brought up with the community edition. So by default for Odoo community edition, we were not having these functionalities for reporting. But whereas with Odoo 14 full accounting kit, we have generally brought up more options for reporting, which includes profit and loss, balance sheet, then daily reports also, and for audit reports like trial balance, tax reports, general ledger, journal audit reports and all. So these are some of the additional things that we have brought up with this full accounting kit module. Now let's have a look on the next functionalities that is being brought up with this. And also you will also have the option called as account report. So this is also a feature that is brought up with this Odoo full accounting kit only, that is called as the account report. So in the account report also you can generally specify the physical reports of your company. So here you can see the report name, type also. That is, here you can see the full account reports, that is financial reports created, the report name, the signs on the reports, the parent type, as well as the financial reports that is being created. So this accounting reports that you are seeing in the dashboard as well as generally in the reporting section, here you will get the options to create the financial reports, where you can mention the report name, its parent type, as well as the financial report style and all. So basically from here you can specify the financial reports for your company. So for that we are having this option called as the the account report option under the configuration of the accounting module. Now let's see the next features with this Odoo 14 full accounting kit. So with this Odoo 14 full accounting kit, it brings up yet another feature of the PDC management, that is the post dated check. So basically with that feature, that will allow the user to handle the post dated check easily. So in order to enable this feature, you have to select the PDC payment. So PDC as a payment. So this is only available with the journal of type banks. So here with journal option, you can generally see the journal types that we have already created within the company. So it will list out all the journals that you have created over here. So here you can see for the bank, when you check for the bank journal, and when you go to this payment configuration, you can see here for the receipt, the methods. Here we are having generally some of the methods like manual, electronic and PDC. So basically, as I told you, for making enable or to make enable for enabling this feature of post dated check or PDC management, first of all you have to select or you have to enable this PDC in the which is available inside the journal of type bank. So this is the type called as bank. So generally with journals we are having the different types over here, that is the sales we are having, then we are having the purchase, cash and bank, and also the miscellaneous one. So I have already discussed about these types, that is about the type for sales, purchase, cash, when these types are being used. So when you use the type as sales, it automatically will post the send customer invoices, or if you select the type as purchases, it will post the received vendor bills and all. And if you select this type or the journal types as cash, it will keep the track of all the petty cashes and daily cash transaction, as well as we can say it will mention the received customer payments and all. And also you have the type called as bank. So when you select the type journal type as bank, so it will post your bank statements and will track the customer payments or the vendor payments and all other transactions that is recorded by the associated bank account. So these are some of the types, and generally the miscellaneous one will post all those entries, that means basically that is does not fit into the above journal. So for that we are having the type called as the miscellaneous one. So for PDC, to make the feature enable, you have to make sure that you have selected the method PDC or enable the option over the journal of type bank. So when you select PDC, when you select the PDC over here, also you have the option for the outgoing method also to select the PDC over here. So let's save this and now let's see. That is while create, suppose if here we can select any of the invoice itself. So here you can see a customer invoice, his delivery address and corresponding product in the invoice line. And suppose here it has the invoice date, due date and the journal also. So if I make this register payment option, so while creating this register payment option itself, I get the option, the payment method, whether it should be manual as well as PDC. So manual, if the payment method, if we select the manual, so it get paid by cash or check, we can say, or if you check or any other method outside the Odoo, we can use this method as manual, or otherwise you will have the options called PDC. So here you can see when I click the option called as PDC, automatically the field of receipt bank account goes, and here you will have the options to create the payment, and by simply clicking on the option called as create payment, it would be getting into the paid stage. And when you, so one options for this PDC, you can see, you will get to see while creating the invoice as well as while making the payment. That is for both, while creating the invoice and making the register payment as well as with the supplier bills also. And also in the payments too, if you can see, if I create one of the payment also, there also we will have the option to mention the payment method, whether manual or PDC. So if I select this option PDC, automatically you can see, that is when I click on this PDC, there I will have the option also to mention this effective date of PDC. So basically with this effective date or with this PDC enable, I will also get the options to mention the effective date for the PDC. So basically with this Odoo 14 full accounting kit module for PDC, we have to first make sure that for the journal type bank, we have set the uh, payment method as PDC. We have enabled that. Then only we will be able to choose the option for PDC, that is while creating the vendor bill, that is making the register payment with the vendor bill or with the invoices also, or other where, or other option where you get the functionalities of selecting the PDC is while doing this payment method or while creating a payment. So when you click on this PDC, at that time while creating the payment also, you will get an options to mention the effective date. So this is how the PDC management is being done with Odoo 14 full accounting kit. So that is also yet another feature of Odoo 14 full accounting kit. Now the next features that is with the Odoo 14 full accounting kit is with the customer credit limit. So that we can see inside the customers. So as you know that within a customer, you can see you will have the options to mention the company address of the company addresses of a particular person. You can also mention that this particular person or is an individual or a company. If you mention individual, you have the options to mention the company too, and then you will, if you select company, you will not have that option, and then you have the options to mention the company addresses, phone, mobile number, email address, as well as the website which the customer is linked to, then tax, and also here you will have the options to add the contact address, and with Odoo itself we are having a list of options for adding the different addresses. Like we have the options to mention the invoice addresses, then delivery addresses, also private addresses, other addresses also. And in sales and purchase also we will have the options to mention the salesperson who will be associated with this particular person in his sales deal and all. And then for sales and purchase also you have the options for mentioning the payment terms. So as we know that this payment terms generally regroups all the regroups all the conditions that is under which a sales need to be completed and paid. So that can be applied whether to a sale order, that can be generally applied to a sale order or a customer invoices, supplier bill, and mostly used to ensure that that will be correctly paid. So here you can see that you have the different methods like 15 days, 21 days, immediate payment. So this 15 days is that, so here the full payment is due 15 days after the invoice date. So like that. So in order to make sure of follow up that, we are having this payment terms over here. And you can see for purchase itself, under purchase you also have an options to mention the payment method. So basically over here you can generally mention the payment methods. With that also you are having the options of selecting the PDC2, and then you have the options for fiscal information. So this particular functionality of fiscal portion, as you know, that is used to adapt the taxes as well as the accounts for particular customer on sales order or the invoice. So this particular functionality is used to map the taxes and accounts, since we know that for every states or country the taxes are different. So while doing the purchase or sale, there will be a change in the currency value and tax rate. So in order to deal with that, or in order to cooperate that, we are having this fiscal portion. And then for miscellaneous one, you have the options to mention the reference company or the industry type of the particular customer. Then under the invoicing, you will have the options to mention the accounts, bank accounts you can mention from here, and also the account payable as well as the account receivable. So account receivable will, this account, it is the account where you can add what our client own us. That is, when you sell certain amount of product, the money you have to receive will be affecting over here. So here you can mention that. And then you have this account payable. So using this payable account, so this payable account is generally for vendors. That is, when a purchase of a product, that is the money that you have to pay, is generally affecting in this account. And then you have the option for credit limit. So basically this is yet another Odoo 14 full accounting feature, that is with the credit limit. So this credit limit is generally feature that helps you to handle the customer credit limit in an effective way. So suppose if I edit this option, so basically I have the option whether to activate this particular credit limit and to avoid this. So if I click on this option called as activate credit limit, then only I would be able to see the warning amount as well as the blocking amount and all. So here with this credit limit you can manage the customer credit limit. That is, you can set a warning stage as well as a blocking stage to a particular customer. So this module will also show, that is the due amount of the customer, that is while creating an order and all. So basically here we can say that is with the customer credit limit, it will handle the customer credit limit with warning as well as the blocking stages and all. And here you can see we have this warning and blocking stage. So generally this warning amount, yeah, it means here if you mention this warning amount, generally what happened is that a warning message will be will appear when the selected customer crosses the warning amount if you set it. So for that we are using this feature called as warning amount and then blocking amount. So if you mention the blocking amount over here, so if it mentioned, then he cannot make a particular sale order on the selected customer if he crosses this particular blocking amount. So the customer, if he crosses the amount that is mentioned over here, he cannot make the sales. And similarly, if a customer crosses the warning amount that is mentioned over here, a pop-up message will be coming over here. So generally using this customer credit limit that is available under the customer form and under the invoicing tab, here we are having the options to set the customer credit limit. It will display the warning message if the customer uh, reaches the warning amount and all. If it reaches that, it would be showing, and it also stops the salesman that is making the sales if the customer due amount reaches the blocking limit. So that also it sees. That is, if he sees that for particular person, if it reaches out of the blocking amount, what happens is that it will also stop the salesman from making the sales if he reaches the due, if the due amount of this particular person reaches the blocking limit also. So that also it look upon and trace that. So for that we are having the option called as customer credit limit in order to handle the credit limits of the customers effectively. So suppose for this particular customer, that is Assur India, I have mentioned the customer credit limit enabled and mentioned the warning amount as well as the blocking amount. And let's save this. Now suppose we can see if any kind of due amount is there for this particular customer and all, we can have a look on that. Okay, so here itself you can see when I select this customer called as Assur Interior, here says that this customer warning limit has been crossed. That it is showing this pop-up because this particular person customer due amount is this much. Whereas for this particular person we have set the warning limit as 20,000 as well as the blocking limit has 25,000. So here you can see that is it shows the due amount of the customer while it is crossing or while creating an order itself. It shows the due amount and it will show that it crosses the particular warning limit of that particular person. So with this customer credit limit, we get this functionality with Odoo 14 full accounting kit. So these are some of the options or some of the features that is being with the full accounting kit, that is with the reporting section that we have seen: journal audit report, general ledger report, age partner balance, partner ledger report, and also with the trial balance report, then day book, bank book, cash book reports, then with handling the recurring payments in Odoo, managing the customer follow-ups, then the accounting dashboard we have seen that deals with the necessary details also, and with the asset management system with Odoo 14 community edition, PDC management, accounting log dates for Odoo 14 community edition. So basically we have seen the every additional features that is being brought up with Odoo 14 full accounting kit features by Cybrosys technology, which is built in version 14. So as per in this training section, we have discussed all the features of Odoo 14 full accounting kit that is being added over this. So if you have any kind of inquiries or questions, just drop your message to odoo@cybrosys.com. So you can drop your queries to odoo@cybrosys.com. So thank you all for attending the session and have a nice day. Thank you all.